We don't have a lot of time because we're going to kind of wrap up expeditiously. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make you a promise. And I'm going to make you the same promise that my grandmother made her 8th husband. And that's simply, I won't keep you long. Some of you guys get that later. All right, so, hey, listen, it is what it is. The interesting thing about this, I've been speaking for the last 25 years, and I always try to write my speech. I always try to rehearse. But in what it is we do, there is no perfect script for this. Because when you're here for 3 primary reasons, I think we're here for purpose, I think we're here to live life with passion, and I think we're here for presence. That while we're here on this planet, we're here to make something happen. We're here to do something. We're here to be a higher level of service to humanity. And for a kid like me, whose mother was 24 years of age, who was a drug abuser, who was into prostitution, who had mental issues, my mother couldn't take care of me. So at 24, my mother had to make a very critical decision. Do I keep 2 young men, my older brother and myself, or do I put them into foster care? And my mother decided that in 1968 that she would keep my older brother and put me into foster care. For the first 7.5 years of my life, I was in various foster homes, shuffled around the inner city of Dayton, going from foster home to foster home. And at the age of 7.5, I was adopted. And my foster parents, my last set of foster parents were the ones who adopted me, but they were a little bit different. They were what we call old school. Everybody say old school. Which simply means my adopted father was born in 1918. Yeah, make fun of my dad, that's cool, whatever, okay. And somebody's like, oh my God, okay. So, and my mother was born in 1930. So in those days, my father was an ex-Marine. My father was a blue-collar worker. My adopted father never made a lot of money. But what my father did, he went to work every day, and he gave us a sense of stability. My father had 1 child prior with his former marriage, and my adopted mother had 5. So there's 7 of us all together, but I was the only one at home. I was the baby. And I wish I could tell you that my adoptive experience was all grand. It wasn't. There were some trials and there were some tribulations. I'm a 9th grade high school dropout. I was physically, mentally, sexually abused. I was in and out of various gangs. I was not a very good student. I had a very, very low self-esteem, and I never thought in my mind that I could ever be anything significant because I thought that kids like me, nobody loved. So I didn't understand that I had the first P, and what I want to talk about, I didn't think I had a purpose. Until one day when I walk into a 3rd grade classroom and a special education teacher comes out and tells us that we are significant. And see, being a special ed kid, I failed the 3rd grade, and so they said, well, Mr. and Mrs. Garrett, he was in foster care. Well, you can't really expect too much out of foster children because, you know, we need to kind of put him in a different category because that's how those children are. So even in 1976, 1977, the stereotype of how these kids that you serve, it was there back then and it's still there now. The only difference of whether these kids will succeed or fail for some of them will be your passion and what it is you do. And I know that what you do is hard. I know sometimes you ask yourself, am I making a difference? The budget crunches, the things that we go through, the kids who get older and older and older, who are harder and harder to get adopted. And sometimes we question ourselves, am I making a difference? Does what I do matter? Let me share this with you. It does. Because if it wasn't for people like you, I would be dead. I would be in prison. I would have 30 kids by 30 different women. The stereotypical things that they say about the population of kids that we serve, I would be that guy, but I am not because you told me that I was something bigger. Purpose. Significance. I never dreamed in a million years that I'd be doing what I'm doing today. I had no clue that the man upstairs would shift me to this position, but I'm here, and I'm alive, and I am breathing, and I am still standing. I am strong because you told me that it was possible. Do not ever underestimate the power that you have in what it is you do, because what you do matters. Everything you say, everything you do, it matters. And in this life, it's about doing something that matters, having a higher sense of purpose. Because when you have purpose, you have everything. See, when I walked into that classroom, there were 12 of us. And I sat in the 3rd row, and I asked myself in 1977, why am I here? What is my purpose? Why am I here? What did I do to deserve this? Why did my real mother want me? Why is my adopted father, why is he distant from me? Why does my adopted mother, why does she, fight all the time? And so, and I'm not here to rain on the parade, but I'm here to let you know that sometimes, as we go into different families, we all have struggles. In my adopted family, they had a struggle, but the one thing that family did for me, it gave me a sense of stability. And it put me in a position to meet the lady that you saw in the video, because I was not supposed to meet her. Because see, the day that she showed up to school that day, she wasn't supposed to be there. Her husband was a superintendent, but somehow when her daughter got sick, her husband took her to the doctor. So when I walked in with my father holding my hand, she walks around the corner, and she later tells me that when our eyes met, she knew that she was supposed to be a part of my life. It is called destiny. You feel it. It's something that's inside all of us. It's an intuition that we know, And sometimes we cannot explain it, but we show up. Because in the way that the world works, or the universe, or however you believe, everybody's here for something bigger.